When was the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Local 1 founded? And at that time, what brought this all together?
The Bricklayers Local 1 was established in 1903. Our union was established out of a need for bricklayers, and those bricklayers in the Edmonton region formed Local 1 Alberta and petitioned to the International Union of Bricklayers to join and form their own branch of the union here. The need was because they wanted to get a fair living wage. For the last 123 years in Alberta, Local 1's been fighting for those members to get that fair living wage. I think that's the primary focus and the primary reason that you have the locals is to get that fair living wage, to get the health and welfare benefits, and to get that pension so that you have a future in retirement. That's a bit of our history there. So we did start in, like I said, 1903. I believe it said April 3rd, 1903. It was our very first union meeting, 3 years out from our 125th anniversary.
Talking about your members, how many members does Local 1 have currently to this day?
We represent 700 bricklayers in the province of Alberta throughout different areas of our trade.
When a lot of people think about the trades, everyone thinks it's a very male-dominated industry. And to this day, there's still a lot of truth behind that. Are there lots of women that get into becoming a bricklayer?
So I'd say that until more recently, people that thought that would have been correct, that bricklayer was a very male-dominated trade, and it continues to be a very male-dominated trade. Do have approximately 15 female bricklayers in the province of Alberta. At the moment, right now, we do have the newest one that joined the local today, Maria, newest first-year apprentice for Local 1 Alberta. But it is a very physically demanding trade. It is heavy units. The materials are not light. It's not, it is, like I said, it's a very physically demanding trade. Definitely hard on shoulders, knees, backs, fingers.
If it moves, it's going to hurt.
You betcha. You're going to know it.
While we're talking about the subject of women in the trades, there's like Women Building Futures, and there's a few other organizations that help women get their foot in the door. What kind of resources do you guys have in place for women to get into the trades or Indigenous to get into the trades?
We just recently completed a program with TEPF, the Educational Partnership Foundation. They work with various groups around the province, with the First Nations groups, with the high school students, with the Women Building Futures. So we recently did a program, 5-week pre-apprenticeship program, where we had 9 First Nations students and 1 girl from Women Building Futures was in. Did the 5-week pre-apprenticeship course at Local 1 here. And of those 10 students, 6 were signed to apprenticeships with our contractors. So 6 of the 10 received an apprenticeship at the completion of the 5 weeks. So we work with them. We also had Women Building Futures in for a 1-day thing where they came in and they had 20 young ladies that came in to do a day in the life of a bricklayer, and they built archways in groups of 2. And it was a very successful program. And that is where Maria came from. So she was in the class with Women Building Futures, going around and doing the day in the life of stuff. But she really wanted to be, and we had to ask the TEPF for an exemption to allow her into our program with the First Nations. So they made an exception for Maria to allow her to come and do the 5-week course for the pre-apprenticeship.
I want to join the AC1 or I want to get into an apprenticeship with you guys. How do I do that with you?
Mostly the steps you take is right now in the province of Alberta, Local 1 still allows the contractor to do the indenture.
So what's indenture?
To have somebody take on your apprenticeship and sign you up to an apprenticeship and say that they're going to indenture you and they're going to take on your apprenticeship and they're going to give you the hours that you need for that apprenticeship so that you can go to school and do that schooling. Unlike university students, where earn and learn at the same time, so you can work 10 months out of the year and then you go to school for 8 weeks. So you go 8 weeks of school and it gives you that opportunity to earn money at the same time during your apprenticeship. So that starts at the contractor. So it starts by the contractor taking somebody on. And so we have a provision in our contract where they can take on a probationary apprentice. So they get that opportunity as a contractor, where we find, just like a lot of trades, that lots of people come along and they say, hey, I really want to do this. And then they get out there and they start doing it and they say, hey, I really don't want to do this. So I think all the trades suffer of that, where a lot of people come in, but a lot of people don't make it out of the first year. They've decided it wasn't for them. So we do have that opportunity for our contractors to have a 90-day probationary period before saying we're going to indenture this guy, we're going to take on the apprenticeship. It's it's for both parties. It's for the individual, gives you 90 days to decide, is this really what I want to do?
Hmm.
It also gives that contractor that 90 days to decide, is this individual really going to do this? Are they going to move forward with it? So, like I said, very physically demanding trade. It's not for everybody. It's one of those trades where you either love it or you hate it. It depends on which area of our trade you're in as well. So
We talked about getting indentured. How do I become a member if I want to join Local One?
So joining Local One, if you're an existing bricklayer, we're always accepting new members. So there's lots of people out there that are bricklayers already, that are tradesmen. They may have come through on the non-union sector. They may have started out with a small, have become a bricklayer through a small contractor. So we're always accepting new members. If you're already a ticketed bricklayer, we have contractors that are always looking for people. So anybody that's a bricklayer that's out there, we're always accepting new members. The other way to join Local One is to be indentured or get an apprenticeship through one of our contractors. And then the next step is obviously to come by the union shortly after that. And anybody that signs an apprenticeship with one of our contractors is required to join the union as well. And then we give you kind of an orientation into the union, let you know what the union does for you, and let you know what your responsibilities are as a new union member as well.
Let's say I'm fresh out of high school. I know nothing about the unions. If I wanted to get into becoming a bricklayer, if I come to your guys' hall, would you then basically give them like a list of potential contractors or employers and they reach out to them to see if they're willing to take them on?
Yeah, if an individual is to stop by the union office and say, I have an interest in being a bricklayer, we can give them lots of introductory information, as well as a list of all of our contractors and some leads, and probably an introduction to some of those manpower coordinators and those people that are out there that are looking for the next generation of tradesmen moving forward. That we're constantly looking to make sure that our existing members are passing the skills and that along to the next generation of trades in our industry.
Apprentice wages. Am I allowed to ask that? Like what apprentice wages may be or what they could vary from?
Sure. So first year apprentice is 60% of the journeyman's rate. So currently, first year apprentice in our commercial sector would be looking at approximately $27 an hour. First year apprentice in our industrial setting of about $32 an hour. All of our members are paid weekly by the contractors. So you get paid every week.
Let's talk about benefits and pension. Once I join and I'm actively working, do I need X amount of worked hours banked up, or how long until I can expect to start using my benefits?
Okay, so when you're a brand new member and you first go out to work, you have to have 300 hours within your first 3 months of work. And then a lot of people say, and then your benefits start. That's not true. It generally takes, it'll be the fifth month. It'll be the fifth month before your benefits are actually going to start. You have to, in your first 3 months, you have to work 300 hours in your first 3 months. Remittances are due the 15th of the following month. So it would mean our health and welfare and benefit plan would receive those the second week into the middle of the month on your what will be already now your fourth month. So the first day of your fifth month, the end of 4 months, your benefits was, so you have to have the 300 hours in those first 3 months. And then they start taking 120 hours every month out of the hour bank for your benefits.
Because we're talking about benefits, how easy is it to find the information regarding your guys' benefit package and what it all covers or entails? Is that something I can access online, or is that something I have to go through you guys to find?
Both is accessible online. So our full benefit package and everything is online on the Element website. But we also have all the information in office as well for any of our members, benefit maximums, different areas.
We'll talk about retirement. Like, so you guys obviously, I'm assuming, do a pension. If I started fresh out of high school, I work with you guys for 10 years, maybe 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years consecutively. What could I be looking at potentially for a retirement with my pension?
Well, currently, that future would look really good for our members. For instance, on the commercial side, they put $4.50 an hour into their pension. For every 1,200 hours worked, those members see about $100 a month at retirement. So for every 1,200 hours that they work, they can see about $100 a month at retirement from those 1,200 hours. On the other side of the trade, on the industrial sector, those guys are currently putting in $6.50 an hour. And for the guys putting $6.50 in, those guys can see approximately $140 a month at retirement for each 1,200 hours that they earn. That will be the biggest difference between the commercial and the industrial side is that all pension on the commercial side is based on hours worked. And in the industrial setting, all pension contributions are based on hours earned.
Your pension rate that is applied to your retirement, it will multiply depending on how you work. So for example, if you're working just straight time, it'll be that 650, but if it's overtime, it'll be 650 plus the overtime, so time and a half.
Yeah.
So 650, I think that works out to being what, about $10, $9 to $10. Math is once again very difficult for me. And then if you put double time into the equation, it's your 650 times two.
You bet.
Right. And that will also.
Yeah. And that's the difference between the commercial and the industrial side. So the commercial guys, it's $4.50 an hour worked.
Mm-hmm.
And the industrial guys, it's $6.50 per hour earned.